Disney has started yet another battle, this time over ESPN in a fight with Spectrum Charter Communications. And this is absolutely massive and can threaten to absolutely destroy ESPN as a viable business unit and also generally hurt their streaming business as a whole. This is actually massive for Disney. This is yet another Disney fail in the making. And of course, we're going to be here to cover it on The Legal Mindset. My name is, of course, Andrew Esquire. I am an American attorney specifically barred in the great state of Florida. And this is a legal mindset where we teach you to be your own judge. So we're going to get right into it today with this and not really waste any time with the ESPN clash with Spectrum and Charter. But I just want to be very clear before I start that this is just yet another battle that Disney is engaged in. So we've talked about their lawsuits in Florida. There are 2 lawsuits with the district, with DeSantis, over the conflict of what they're trying to do with their corporate town, the former RCID, now the CFTOD. We've talked about that lawsuit. The TSG lawsuit over financing in Hollywood. The shareholder lawsuits alleging securities fraud, right? So you've got 2 of those out there now. And now you've got this battle on top of needing to pay billions of dollars for Hulu. So we've got so much is going on for Disney. This is something they don't need. Now, what are the facts of this case? So ESPN, as you know, is the sports outlet. Now, I'm not a huge sports guy, full confession here, but everybody knows what ESPN, even me who's not a sports guy, I know ESPN. I've seen ESPN on in the malls and the airports, traveling around, moving around at a sports bar. Even over here in Asia, I see ESPN pop up occasionally, not as often lately. But ESPN has been flagging, and it's been flagging for multiple reasons. But perhaps the biggest is they're trying to push this move towards streaming. And as of last week, Charter Communications actually cut them out because they failed to come to a deal. So when people went to turn their college football on Thursday, tried to turn it on, and boom, no ESPN. Why was that? Well, that's because they did not come to a deal. So historically, if you guys didn't know, and we'll get a little background helps here, historically, legacy media, satellite and cable, the way they worked is you got a bunch of channels, maybe 100 channels, but you didn't watch all of them. Maybe you watched 10 of those channels. Maybe Grandma Betsy just likes Lifetime movies and that's all she watches, but she's still paying for ESPN. ESPN was included as one of those channels. So it's being subsidized by the people that don't watch sports, that don't watch ESPN. And the vast majority of people were not sports watchers on those packages. Most people did not watch sports. That was not the thing they tuned into. Now, there are a significant number of sports watchers. There are people that watch ESPN, right? But they didn't. But the majority of people on these packages were not specifically buying the package just for ESPN. However, they would still fork over that money, let's say about $100 or so per subscriber per year. So, you're forking that over for millions of cable subscribers that have your charter cable package, your standard charter cable package. You're forking over that money to include ESPN with the package. The problem is that now Disney, because they're failing, because they're not doing well, and to remind you guys about their stock price, they're currently under $81. They're at 80.98 right now as of the time of this video. So these guys are not doing well. So what does Disney have to do in their desperation, in their poverty? They have to increase the price of everything. Their park tickets are going up, right? Their Disney Plus has gone up. And now you see ESPN going up. Even DVC has gone up, right? Everything's going up, but ESPN is no exception. They have to because they are failing. They need more money. So they said, hey, Charter, if you want ESPN, you're going to have to pay more. But at the same time, Disney and Bob Iger have been very public saying we're moving everything to streaming. And our goal is to move to streaming and get off of cable, get off of legacy media. Well, because they've been so public with that, it's like your girlfriend telling you, hey, I'm going to break up with you in 6 months, but I want you to keep paying me. I want you to give me $1,000 a month. I want you to be my sugar daddy for the next 6 months, even though I'm breaking up with you. Before we're just dating, we're just hanging out and having a normal relationship. Now I want you to pay me $1,000 a month, and then I'm going to go. You'd say no, of course, and Charter's is very justified to say, yeah, we're not doing that. In fact, Charter said, look, if you want it, first of all, we're not going to pay you that much. We're not going to pay you as much as you want. We're not doubling your salary here. We're not doubling your fees. What we're going to do is we'll pay you maybe a little bit more, get some inflation costs in there. But importantly, if you are going to push streaming, you have to give our members, people who are buying a cable package, a complimentary ESPN Plus streaming subscription. So you need to give that to them as included as part of the package because they are subsidizing this. So you need to give it to them for free. Well, of course, Disney doesn't want to do that. They want to nickel and dime you for everything. So because of that, because they want to nickel and dime you for everything, because they're not willing to negotiate, like most other streaming services, by the way, which are willing to negotiate, they are at an impasse. So because of that, 15% of the full ESPN watchers, so the subscriptions, which mind you includes people that are not really watching ESPN, right? So about 70s and the 70 millions of folks are currently subscribed to ESPN or have access to ESPN. About 15% of that just dropped off the map. Just boom, just blinked out like that. And this is huge. ESPN does not have the margins to just cut these cords, just cut these ties and just blink out. That's not something they can afford to do. And because of that, this is going to have huge ramifications. As you see in the news here, they're very, very confident that this could even lead to the collapse of the U.S. pay model, right? Of the U.S. pay model. And right here it says, with Disney channels unavailable to 15 million customers on charter platforms since last Thursday. So it's a significant portion there of folks that are now cut out from ESPN. So what's at risk here? ESPN is already a toxic asset. They already want to sell ESPN. They're already looking for buyers for ESPN. And now it's becoming clear why. Disney knew that it's not profitable. They knew that they couldn't come to a deal. And they knew that people are not going to continue to subsidize them if they're pulling this BS. And now you can see why it is a Disney fire sale, while they have to get rid of it. And by the way, Rupert Murdoch at Fox was brilliant. Whatever you think about him personally, from a business acumen standpoint, was brilliant to sell off the legacy media assets and sell all those off and only keep the profitable news element and sell off everything else. Because now Disney is stuck with all these toxic assets, much akin to ESPN. All these assets, these former Fox assets, are all toxic assets. They're all red in the ledger, and Disney paid historically high prices to get all that stuff. And now they're just floundering and floundering and floundering. They just can't deal with it. So this is going to be yet another piece of dismal news for Disney. And of course, I look forward to covering this in further as it comes out, whether it turns into a legal suit, maybe there's some tortious interference with contract or some other civil liability. Who knows? We'll stay on top of that. But one thing I can ask you guys to do is to like this button, like this video. Just if you do one thing, just one thing, like the video, like it in the comments below the video, like that. And if you want to leave a comment, you leave a comment, but most importantly, like the video, and I will deeply appreciate that. Thank you so much. Of course, Disney has been messing up, and you know I, on this channel, am here for all the legal stuff, all the business news, to cover it for you guys on a, it seems like, daily basis. But until then, until the next video, guys, take care. Catch you later. Peace.